if you are interested in Russian culture and in the country in general, and if you are planning to visit it one day, I can only applaud this intention, because I truly believe that your trip will not be boring, and honestly, you will have a lot of memorable moments, and it will be a very, very amazing experience overall. But I want also to warn you about things that you probably should fear in Russia. So, what are they? And I'll start with Russian bureaucracy. Seriously, guys, if you will need to make some kind of documentational arrangements or apply for some kind of permission for study or for work, or request some kind of documentation, you are not going to enjoy this. Let's put it mildly. And I know the bureaucracy in general is the pain in the ass for a lot of countries. Here in Spain is the same, I'm sure in the countries that you are from it's also not amazing, but in Russia it's a special flavor of shite. The bureaucracy in Russia is horrible, because sometimes you can find yourself in the situation that you need to request a one type of paper, and to get this type of paper you will need to go to another place to have a second type of paper, and to have this second type of paper you will need a third type of paper, and sometimes it happens that to have this third type of paper, you already need to have the first type of paper. It's very, very, very bad, and it's also not very fast. Lately, during the last few years, it's improving because it's digitalizing a lot, especially for Russian citizens. We have the app that is called Gosuslugi, that a lot of managements with the documents are done through it. But still, there are a lot of managements that's outside, and if you are a foreigner and you are not just a tourist whose problems, documentational problems, are covered by the agency, it's not going to be amazing process to deal with documentational, bureaucratical things at all. And not only that, I mean, the procedures are long and sometimes nonsensical, but it's even not the worst part. The worst part are often the kind of people, and I don't even want to say people, it's the kind of attitudes that people who are working in the governmental agencies in Russia and to whom you will have to apply, whom you will have to face to get the piece of paper that you need, they are a special type of human candies, because often looking at their faces you will not understand what kind of attitudes is predominant in them, or is that they hate you, they despise you, or they just don't want to acknowledge your existence, or mix of all of these three things. So imagine the kind of human that you feel yourself under this kind of stares. It's not the look that they will give you that is telling you, I am working for the government, I'm public work, and I want to help you, I'm ready to accommodate you, I'm ready to explain. You think, nope, it's often just a face that is not more friendlier than a brick. Indeed, I would say it's a less friendlier face than a brick in the wall. And yeah, that's another type of experience when you are dealing with the bureaucratic processes in Russia. I had to face it so many times because, because of my moving to here, I had to make a lot of types of documentational requests and procedures, and yeah, the majority of bureaucrats there are not the most, how to say it lightly, well, not the most accommodating and nice people on earth. And another things that you should be afraid of in Russia are the roads and drivers. Drivers is the most dangerous thing. Well, the roads, you probably would understand why. The Russian Federation is so vast that to preserve all the roads in a perfect or almost perfect state, like here in Europe, it would be almost impossible mission. Well, maybe it would be possible if we would have like zero corruption and all of the budget would go into the infrastructure and the social needs instead of the war and the pockets of oligarchs. Yeah, maybe, but we are not talking about the fairy tale situation, we are talking about the reality. And with all of the 4 seasons changing, the climate being harsh and aggressive, it's impossible to preserve all the roads in amazing state. So outside of the main streets in big cities, and well, yeah, in Moscow and St. Petersburg, most of the roads are pretty good. But if you want to visit Russia and rent a car to make some kind of a big road trip like you would do in USA, don't rent the sport car. And now let's go back to the question of drivers. Okay, maybe the situation in Russia is not as bad as, for example, in India. I saw some programs and that was just crazy damn chaos. It's a little bit more civilized, but a lot of Russian drivers, I mean, most of them are men, and they have, I guess, kind of macho alphism of their testicles that sometimes is taking over their brain. So on the roads, you will see way less respect in Russia, way more aggression, and way more accidents. Statistically, Russia is not amazing in these aspects, precisely because of a pretty low culture of driving, which is tied again, yeah, these testicle questions. And I must tell that before I visited the West, I didn't even perceive that indeed the way Russians are driving is quite dangerous, until my friends started to come to Russia and they told me like, wow, shit, I would never drive here, it seems so dangerous. And once, as a passenger, I also felt the danger. I literally felt danger for my life. It was when I called for a taxi to bring me from Moscow airport to a place of my friend, and the way driver was conducting this car, I don't know. It felt like or he was drugged or whatever happened. It was just like this, and I was thinking that I'm about to fucking die, really. And we were in the middle of the big road, so there were cars all around, and I literally couldn't even tell anything to him because, I don't know, I was scared that if he will stop, we will just get fucking collide with some other cars. That was horribly crazy. But yeah, that was exceptional case when I really felt how dangerous it is, some of the Russian drivers. But overall level is low, the level of drivers' culture, so please keep it in mind. Point number 3 is relevant at this historical period, and it's about unpredictable laws and censorship. For example, we in Russia have a law that is prohibiting LGBT propaganda. It's very stupid law because, well, okay, it's a topic for another video probably. But what it means on a practical level for you. For example, if you are not necessarily even if you're gay, if you're just a person who is absolutely okay with the LGBTQ and other letters community, and you tolerant and everything, and for example you have a little sign or a sticker or something with the rainbow, I don't know, maybe it's one of the stickers on your backpack or something. Technically, it could be interpreted as a violation of the law which prohibits propaganda of LGBT things. Yeah, then you can tell like it was not a propaganda, it was just a fucking sticker. It's my personal thing. It makes symbolism for myself. It doesn't matter. We had some crazy cases in Russia where people, I think it was one of a young woman who was wearing a kind of earrings that had something rainbowy, and she was basically legally prosecuted for this as doing LGBT propaganda. That's crazy. Okay, of course, if you are just a tourist, I mean, on a practical level, it's unlikely that you will be caught because of this, but it's better to be aware of this. And if you want another example of a crazy law that we have, it's the kind of law that prohibits another type of propaganda of a child free. And again, on a practical level, probably you would never be prosecuted for this. But technically, theoretically, if, for example, let's say you have a blog or a YouTube channel, and for whatever reason, the Russian government or someone a little bit important in Russia doesn't like you, and in your blog you, for example, describing a child-free lifestyle choice as a totally valid or whatever, or if you are child-free and you are talking about how much you basically enjoy that you chose this path and that you are at peace with yourself because of this, that also might be interpreted as child-free propaganda. Because yes, when the law is not stating things super clearly, you can do a lot of interpretations, and yeah, you can be basically prosecuted. There are fines. I'm not sure if it's prison time for this. I think for the first time definitely not. It will be just a financial fine. But yeah, it's illegal and you might have problems. And even despite the fact that, practically it's rare cases, it's unlikely, but it's always better to know these kind of things about the country that you are planning to visit. Another thing that probably will induce fear in you is Soviet-era elevators and infrastructure. And regarding elevators, I would add that not only Soviet-era ones, but also very modern ones in the new buildings that are not of the business class, like this kind of skyscrapers, but cheap skyscrapers that sell very small flats or studios for people, because the quality of the elevators that they making is quite poor, and it's unfortunately not super rare thing that the very old, outdated Soviet era elevators and the modern but cheap ones, they had accidents. And still have in Russia, with people sometimes being injured or even dead. And well, when you will if you will visit some older buildings, you will notice this kind of elevators that is just by the visual appearance already would give you kind of creepy vibes. Not necessarily they are unsafe, but well, depends on what kind of company is serving them, if all of the procedures really respected, and if all of the necessary details changed in time, it can be safe, or maybe not that safe. For example, when I visited Elbrus, Caucasus, when I took the funicular to go up to the mountain, I don't know, I felt like, again, I'm about to risk my life, because these kind of metallic seats from very, very deep Soviet era on this funicular, they looked absolutely not safe, and honestly, I doubt they were really safe, but I still took it because, well, I was there, it was too late to change my mind, and I thought like, well, no one is dying right now, so probably I also will not. And here I am alive, but some elements of very outdated infrastructure can be not super safe. And, well, some elements of the new infrastructure also can be not amazing. Just keep it in mind. And the number 5, I want to mention one thing that I think you should fear it, but also you should probably experience it, because it's a very unique type of experience you will not find here in Europe or in USA. Well, at least I never heard of this, and it can be even fun, but it's also something that I fear myself. And basically I'm talking about Platzkart wagons in trains. So in Russian long-distance trains we have usually 2 types of wagons. First one is coupe, kupейный wagon we call it, and it's basically a wagon with that has several little rooms. They are separated, and in each of these small room there are 4 places, 4 seats where people can sit and sleep. So it's like 2 beds in the first floor and 2 upper. And плацкартный wagon, which is basically a wagon where there is no divisions between these rooms. And apart from having no divisions in these sections, there are also additional beds, low level and higher level, in the side part of the wagon. Well, I'll try to show you some pictures. So basically it's like a big communal flat as a part of a train. And why you should fear it? Well, because it's, imagine spending a lot of hours and even several days, because if you want to visit Russia, you probably will take these trains, and it's also interesting to travel in train in Russia, because you will see a lot of nature. It's great. It's not just being in the sky and moving from one point to another without experiencing, actually seeing these enormous fields, enormous forests and different kind of nature. So, while it's all great, but spending several days or even one day with a lot of people, how many? Well, like dozens of people sleeping close one to another without having these separate little rooms even. Well, that's interesting, let's say, because imagine, people are changing their socks. People are not washing themselves. There is no conditions to wash yourself really good. Well, some people of course try to do, they go to the toilet and they wash a little bit, but it's not a really amazing shower, and some people don't do this right away. So it's the smells around might be very curious, and the way these beds are packed in these kind of wagons, they packed very tight. So you can find perfectly someone's dirty food hanging above your head, because you, for example, imagine you have the bed below, you sit and eat something, and above you someone is sleeping. And this person doesn't have the best hygiene in the world and not controlling their movements. So yeah, having their dirty feet with socks almost off hanging above your head, it's not uncommon. It's just one of the examples of things that can happen there. And also, add there super different kind of people being all together. Kids, educated, uneducated, screaming, not screaming. People who like to drink. Nowadays it's prohibited, indeed, so this situation is a bit better controlled, but still, you perfectly can find, especially men who like to drink a lot of heavy things during their travels, and this company can be fun sometimes, I guess. You can talk about whatever, from philosophy to politics and so on, but also it can be sometimes uncomfortable. Yeah, because the person when he's drunk, it's hard to stop his impulses to keep on communicating about whatever. Well, I'm talking him and his because, yeah, let's be clear, like 95% of people who get drunk in trains are men. So yeah, that can be curious. So yeah, be afraid of this, but also try it. Anyway, that's it for today, and if you have anything to add, I will be very happy to read it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!